I never imagined I'd have to defend my own home, especially not from someone trying to steal it. But that's exactly what happened. And the person behind it? Karen Winters, the president of our Homeowners Association. It began 6 months ago when I relocated to Willow Creek Estates, a pristine suburb renowned for tidy lawns, tidy sidewalks, and one of the most demanding HOAs in the county. I am an architect and had been saving for decades to purchase my ideal house. Moving day, Karen appeared to welcome herself, with a clipboard and stiff smiling lips that never really reached her eyes. "Welcome to Willow Creek," she declared, her tone implying I should consider myself lucky to have the honor. "I'm Karen Winters, president of the HOA. You'll want to learn about our bylaws pronto. We don't tolerate rule breakers here." She handed me a 3-inch binder filled with rules and regulations and scrutinized my moving boxes like a Border Patrol official. "Your mailbox is 2 inches too tall for code. You'll have to replace it in 7 days or pay a fine." I thanked her and vowed to study the rules, which appeared to slightly disappoint her. My neighbor Tom warned me later. Karen feeds on conflict. She's been president for 5 years because nobody wants to mess with her. His advice? Fly under her radar. For the first several months, I did just that. I abided by the rules and stayed away. But things unraveled when I installed a vegetable garden in my own yard. The bylaws had allowed gardens as long as they couldn't be seen from the street. Mine couldn't. It was behind the house, screened by a tasteful fence. Karen, however, showed up on my doorstep one Saturday morning, eyes burning. "Your garden is in contravention of Section 12, Paragraph 4, she declared victoriously. "Vegetable gardens must be certified by the Landscaping Committee, which I chair." I calmly indicated the binder she'd delivered. "That's not what the bylaws say. It only speaks of street visibility." Her eyes were narrowed. "Then the bylaws need to be revised. Take it down by Monday or pay $50 per day." I rebelled. That's when the minor citations started pouring in. My lawn was 1/2 inch too long. My trash can remained outside 30 minutes after the deadline. Even my garden hose was visually distracting. I contested every fine at HOA meetings, and most often, the board sided with me. That angered Karen. She was not used to being questioned, let alone overruled in public. After one such fierce meeting, when I won the decision from the board, she confronted me in the parking lot. "You think you're smart?" she spat. "No one makes me look bad in front of the board. You'll live to regret the day you came here." I dismissed it as hot air. That was my error. 2 weeks later, I was admitted to the hospital at 3 a.m. with a ruptured appendix. Emergency surgery was complicated by the onset of sepsis. What was initially a minor procedure ended up as a 3-week hospital visit, followed by weeks at home recovering. While I fought for my life, Karen fought for my home. She had been seen coming onto my property many times, explaining that she was checking on things for me. She was staging the ground to illegitimately seize control of my home. When I arrived home the day I got back, feeling sick and recovering, I found a notice pinned to my front door. It stated that by abandoned property laws, the HOA had taken over the house. I had sold the house to Karen Winters for $1 as per papers. I called the county clerk's office immediately. Horrified, I learned that there was a deed transfer on file 2 weeks earlier in which I had purportedly signed before a notary. "I was in the ICU," I explained, my voice shaking. "I couldn't have signed anything." The clerk sympathized but would not budge. I would have to file a court complaint. Karen had already filed eviction proceedings with a 72-hour notice to vacate. I phoned Jennifer, my real estate attorney cousin. She arrived the same day, reviewed the papers, and was outraged. "This is pure fraud. We're getting an emergency injunction immediately, and we're laying criminal charges: fraud, forgery, breaking, and entering." While Jennifer worked all night drafting our reply, I started gathering proof. The hospital provided documents verifying that I had been unconscious when the supposed signing took place. I also installed security cameras, just in case. The very next afternoon, Karen returned, bringing with her 2 men. "These 2 gentlemen will help you move out," she announced with superior haughtiness. I am doing you a courtesy to let you have until 5 p.m. I stood in the doorway. Karen, you forged a deed while I was unconscious in the hospital. That is a felony. My attorney has already filed an emergency injunction, and the police are being notified. Her smile wavered. You signed it yourself. I have a notarized paper. I was in the ICU with sepsis, I replied, proffering my hospital records. And also, by the way, the cameras just caught you attempting to serve a fraudulent eviction. The two men took a step back simultaneously. We were told this was legit, one of them replied. We're out. Karen glared. You're going to regret this. I have friends in this town. You're going to regret not having walked away. That afternoon, the judge granted our injunction. We presented the forged deed, medical records, and security footage. The investigation was brief. The notary whose seal was applied could not remember the transaction. A handwriting expert confirmed that the signature was not mine. Karen's bank statements showed expensive purchases, furniture and appliances, made the day after she signed the forged deed. Her computer settled the case. Drafts of the forged document, history on how to claim abandoned property, and blueprints of my house with annotations about how she would redecorate. 3 weeks passed and we appeared in court. Karen showed up dressed to the nines, oozing smug self-assurance. She obviously thought that her community status would protect her. She was mistaken. The judge, a keen-eyed woman with no time for drama, examined the evidence. When Karen's lawyer attempted to state there had been a misunderstanding, the judge cut him off. Counsel, the facts establish your client engaged in fraud by forging documents of ownership while the owner lay in intensive care. This is no miscommunication. This is felony fraud of the worst order. Under oath, Karen at first testified that I signed the documents before my hospitalization. Faced with time-stamping and medical records, she did a change of tactics. He was going to sell it to me anyway, she snapped. We had an oral agreement. I just cut the process short. Jennifer's eyebrow leaped up. An oral agreement with a man who was unconscious? Karen snapped. He didn't deserve that house. His mailbox was in code. That garden was an eyesore. Someone had to teach him a thing or two. The courtroom was silent. The judge did not even flinch. Mrs. Winters, this court finds you guilty of forgery, fraud, and attempted theft. Those are felony charges. Bail is revoked. Karen's jaw dropped as the bailiff approached her with handcuffs. You can't be serious. I'm the HOA president. I volunteer. I'm respected. You might have wished you'd remembered that before you committed a felony, the judge replied curtly. She turned to me. The counterfeit deed is revoked. Your property is yours, and Mrs. Winters will be required to make restitution, including legal fees. Because of the severity of her crime and her indifference, she will be sent to state prison for at least 5 to 7 years and fined as much as $75,000. Karen went white as she realized the gravity of what she had done. But my reputation, she wailed. You traded your good name for someone else's house, said the judge, already prepared to hear the next case.